I'm what you might call a Pokemon fanatic. I have what must be a million cards, no doubles, many figurines and plushies, and I own, or have owned, all the games at some point or another. I've owned and trained every Pokemon available, even the event-exclusive ones, thanks to a lot of bribing. Well, all except two. One very, very simple Pokemon that isn't uncommon in the Eterna Forest and its evolution, Baneri and Lopunny. Those two Pokemon are my favorites ever. But whenever I encounter Baneri, it either faints, knocks out all my Pokemon, or I run out of Pokeballs. The darn thing hates my guts, and I have no idea why. And, of course, the only way to get a Lopunny is evolving Baneri. And before you ask, I never trade a Pokemon if it is available in the game. That seems like cheating to me. Plus, I get more satisfaction from catching it myself the natural way. It had been ages since my last try at catching one. So, I thought I'd have another shot at it. I took my DS, a copy of Pearl, grabbed my level 19 Blissey, and dragged its butt over to Eterna Forest. I met Wurmple, Cascoon, and Badoo galore, even a few Dustox, and pummeled them all with Blissey's Hyper Beam, but there were no Baneri. I must have searched for hours without success. Finally I sighed, and decided to give up. But as I was leaving, guess what came out of the grass? Baneri, but not just any Baneri. I watched the shining stars twirl around her, fascinated with the pink cotton fluff on her body. I must have sat there in amazement for at least 10 minutes, just staring. Eventually, one of my stupor, God, it was freaking shiny. I had to catch it, but I knew that Blissey would knock it out and hit, and shoot. I only had one Great Ball. Bet you a million bucks I wouldn't catch that. Well, here goes nothing. One roll. Well, it's a good start. 2 rolls. It'll do 3 and break free. Just watch. 3 rolls. Closest out on 3 people. 1, 2. Gotcha! Baneri was caught! Eh? I caught it? I really caught it! Not only that, but it was a shiny. Oh, I was so happy right now. I could scream. In fact, I did, very loudly. I literally poured over every detail of my favorite Pokemon. Her cotton fluff, her whittle button nose, and big shiny eyes. She was the cutest thing that ever existed. I named her Dawn. I simply couldn't wait to evolve her into a Lopunny. I started training her right away in that very area. She was very strong, unusual so far for a Baneri. Within half an hour, she reached level 30 and loved me to pieces. And I loved her just as much. I happily fought the last Pokemon I needed to beat for Dawn to level up. Her happiness was at maximum, so that meant she would be evolving. I finally have my Lopunny. One last jump kick and my foe, Dustox, was no more. I jittered in my seat as the evolution screen came up. Only a few seconds left. Dawn doesn't want to evolve. What? Why? Hang on a second. Pokemon can't choose whether or not to evolve. That's ridiculous. I tried again several times, but she wouldn't evolve. I felt a sigh escape me as I looked back at Dawn. Oh well, I can always train another. I looked around for another Baneri, and found one within minutes. Just regular Baneri, male this time. I caught him easily, but it held no thrill like before. I felt nothing, breathing out a sigh in disappointment. I named him Steven, and set about getting him up to max happiness, but I just couldn't get into it. I huffed in anger and shoved the DS down, planning to get back into a better state of mind. However, I was still in a foul mood the next morning when I began training again. After many long hours of a half-hearted leveling, I finally got my Lopunny. but it brought no joy. I had really wanted Dawn to be my precious, shiny Lopunny. I don't know why I was so fussed, to be honest. I had plenty of shinies before, so I barely paid a blind bit of notice to them now. But Dawn was special. She had come out just for me. Wait, stop. Reverse. Come out for me? What was I saying? No. It was a mass of pixels on a tiny screen. It couldn't come out for anyone. Oh well. Best to put these strange thoughts out of my head. After a few days before I played Pokemon again, I was completely swamped with homework, as I've been spending all my time training. Then I got HeartGold. It was such an amazing game. I love the way your Pokemon wandered behind you, interacting with the environment. It was a joy to play, and I had finished it within a week. First thing I did after that? Transfer my Pokemon from Pearl to HeartGold. I had missed my Generation 4 team and eagerly welcomed them back. Then I remembered my wonderful Steven. I immediately grabbed him out of the PC and set him in my first party. Oh, what a joy it was to have him leading behind me. But the joy only lasted a few seconds before a depressing feeling came over me. Steven wasn't right. He wasn't who I needed to see. I ran to my PC and planned to put him back, but something inspired me to turn to talk to him. Steven feels dizzy. Wait, what? His HP was full. Pokemon only felt dizzy if they had a really low HP. I talked to him again. Steven was clutching his chest in pain. That was not a set line. I knew all of them. What the hell was going on with my Pokemon? I felt concern blossoming in my chest and tapped A again. I had to know what was happening. Steven kneeled over. Oh my god, seriously? What was happening? His overworld sprite had actually fallen to its knees, no longer following me. Panic rushed through my veins. I quickly ran over to Nurse Joy, begging that something would be done about him. Hello there. Welcome to the Pokemon Center. We restore your Pokemon to full health. Would you like to rest your Pokemon? Yes! Freaking yes! I shouted in a panic. Heal Steven! Okay, I'll take your Pokemon for a few seconds. Yes, please, please help him. My Lopunny. Nurse Joy turned back to me. I'm sorry, your Lopunny seems to have had a heart attack. I'm afraid he didn't make it. No, that can't be true. Pokemon don't die. Do they? I checked my party and Grovyle was first in my party. Steven had gone. I felt crushed. My only ever Lopunny was dead. It was then I remembered who was supposed to be my Lopunny. Dawn. My precious, shiny Canary. I could remember not evolving her for some reason. Guess I'd do it now. I grabbed her from my PC, but I couldn't stop myself from lingering in her summary screen. She was so perfect, so amazing, so special. Time to evolve, Dawn. As we were walking, I tried to recall the reason for delaying her evolution. I had no idea why I hadn't done it. Thank God she was only 10 XP points away from leveling up. So after the destruction of one Rattata, I was on the edge of my seat, waiting for it eagerly. Dawn doesn't want to evolve. Damn. Now I remember, every single time I tried to involve the little devil, she just refused blatantly. Oh well, no use whipping a dead horse. I kept her in my party first place. I talked to her so often that I probably said more to her than an hour than I've said to anyone else in my life in a whole week. But, of course, people grow and change. I found a wild Mary in the tall grass near Violet City. It was shiny. Oh, it was so pink and fluffy, and I just had to have it. I sent on Dawn and promptly ordered her to use swagger, as I knew an attack would knock out the Murray instantly. Dawn ignored orders. Dawn used jump kick. The wild Mary fainted. Now that should not have happened. I had all 16 badges, so Pokemon should obey me at any level. Heck, Dawn's only at level 63 too. This certain event really ticked me off. I immediately turned to her. Maybe some things she had to say would explain her crazy behavior. Dawn is stamping her feet and whining. What's with all these wacko lines? And why the temper tantrum? Alright, little missy, start explaining. No, I don't care that I'm talking to a game. I do that all the time. Give me a break. I spoke to her again. Dawn is snuggling your hand. Aw, how cute. Don't think this gets you out of this, I stated sternly. Without a prompt, new text began to scroll. Dawn is licking your hand. The hell? That wasn't a set line. Oh god, I don't know even why I'm surprised anymore. Dawn bit your hand. Ouch! I dropped the DS as the sharp pain suddenly flourished in my flesh. I squeezed my hand tightly, rubbed it, and even tried to bang it on the wall, but the pain would not go away. I turned back to the DS to see the avatar struggling on the spot. Running, but going nowhere. Bracing my teeth, I pressed A again repeatedly. Dawn is holding tightly and won't let go. Dawn is grinning around its mouth full. Dawn is chewing softly. Dawn likes the taste. Dawn would rather eat you than lose you. She would rather? This Baneri was wrong in the head. No two ways about it. I tried smashing the buttons to get away from her, but the pain only increased tenfold the more I tried. When I finally gave up hope and was about to press the power button to escape, a new window opened. Dawn released your hand. Oh, that was much better. I had almost forgotten what no pain felt like. I felt really uncomfortable, just sitting there, waiting for something to happen. It never crossed my mind to try the controls. Eventually, Dawn jumped up and down happily. The smiling face appeared above her head. Dawn has a secret to tell you. Here we go. What would this Psycho Baneri want to tell you? Despite my logic, I found myself leaning in slightly. Dawn wants you to come closer. So, I leaned closer. I don't know why, it just felt better. Dawn still can't reach your ear. I was now so close to the DS, my nose was almost touching the screen. I saw something silver flash behind Dawn's back. What was that? Master, I love you. I felt fear flow throughout my body as the high-pitched, sing-song voice echoed from the speakers. The object behind her back was growing clearer, but I still couldn't make it out. I won't let anyone else have you. I giggled. It was enough to turn the bravest man in the world into a pile of jelly. I was nowhere near brave, so you can imagine how I was feeling right now. Wait. Behind her back. That was a... Master? Suddenly, I felt a sharp piercing pain shudder throughout my core. I gasped in surprise, but it wasn't much of a gasp. My breath would not come. I choked and sputtered for air, drawing only a tiny bit in at a time. I felt something warm and wet along the front of my chest and looked down to see something silver, shiny. A Philip headed sticking out of my chest. Adrenaline rushed through me, but it came too late. As my lifeblood poured, my conscience slowly slipped away. I could see the faint outline of Dawn on the DS screen. Her eyes were wide and white, rimmed with black tears running down her face. She smiled manically, showing sharp teeth and braided shining a blood-stained screwdriver. As she whispered softly, almost musically, "We'll be together